Good evening, YouTube. Tonight I'm going to be showing you the third hidden method of baking normal maps in Blender. I don't know if anybody else uses this method. I've used it quite extensively. I don't necessarily recommend it over the other two methods, which I've made two other video tutorials on. I'll put the links in the descriptions there. It's got its strengths and advantages, but it always kind of depends on the individual model, which one you want to go with. This one has a couple of requirements to make it work. We're gonna be baking this frog man, this space frog man that I sculpted a long time ago in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So to set the scene here, what we have is a model that was made with a voxel remesh, or if you use something like ZBrush, Dynamesh, or I'm sure other packages have similar kind of voxel-based sculpting tools. In this case, you can definitely see this is not animatable, deformable topology. This isn't the kind of thing that we can just unsubdivide and get a good base off of to animate or anything. This is very much a high poly that needs to be baked down. So you would do your retopology from whichever method you like to do that, whether it's partially automated or manual. That's not the point of this tutorial, but you would get your new deformable topology for your low poly version. In the normal case, instead of the multi-resolution workflow, you would be doing the high to low baking workflow where it's got a bunch of rays and it does a cage extrusion and everything, but we're gonna kind of cheat things a little bit basically, and we're gonna use the multi-resolution workflow, but we're just gonna make it work even though it wouldn't normally work. So what we want to do is add the multi-resolution modifier to our low resolution version. We're gonna quickly go to our high resolution version and we're gonna check the statistics on it. So in this case, we have 1.4 million triangles, right? If you don't know, you can click on here and you can click on statistics to toggle your poly counter up there. So we're just gonna hide that again. We need to subdivide this to a greater amount than that. In this case, 3 subdivisions gets us there. And then we're gonna add a shrinkwrap modifier, and then we can select our high poly version. And this is actually looking fine with the default nearest surface point, but nearest surface point doesn't work most of the time. Usually you want to go to project, which will immediately look worse, but you check negative, and then you also want to limit it. 0.1 is usually okay, but always remember with scale, it depends on the actual scale of your model. And in this case, okay, so we've got a little funky thing going on there. Maybe 0.01, we'll fix that up. Maybe even 0.001, we'll fix that up. Oh, we went too far. And 0.0075, and that's looking pretty much fine. Yeah, that ought to do. We're just going to do Control A to apply our shrink wrap modifier. Now we actually have, bear in mind, this was our low resolution one, so we have all 3 of these subdivision levels with, proper multi-resolution ascending detail levels. And then we can bake it just like we would with the normal multi-resolution workflow. So I'm gonna pop into our shading tab. You want to make sure that you have a normal map node and an image texture node, and then you're going to click on new, and I'm going to type in frogman tutorial, and I'm going to do 2048 by 2048 just because it's a tutorial. I don't want to use a lot of file size. And then keep that selected, and then make sure you go to your modifiers tab and turn your levels viewport down to 0. And then you can go to render, make sure your samples for rendering are at 1, you don't have denoise on, and then in bake you have bake for multi-res, bake type normals, click on, oops, Make sure your model's selected, then click on bake, and it'll bake you out a perfect normal map. And then you can just drag and drop that in. You're gonna immediately notice it looks funky. Just like I said in the other video, you gotta save your normal map, save as, and then change the color space to non-color, and then the normal map will display properly in Blender. And I should probably explain the major advantage of this workflow over a traditional baking with raise and cage workflow is you'll notice that there isn't a single inverted normal on this normal map. That's one thing that multi-resolution does really well is, it knows exactly where every normal needs to be going because it's technically on the same mesh and geometry data set. It's not doing anything funky, so you don't end up with any of those inverted green spots, and you just get a really clean bake pretty much every time. So again, this isn't necessarily, better than that workflow, but it is really quick and really reliably has a good outcome in my opinion. So I think it's worth showing everybody how it works. And yeah, as an added bonus in this technique, if you're not just doing video games where you need a normal map, you do get to have your high resolution model very animatable. So I'm gonna crank these up, and the viewport performance won't be good, but you'll see that the model does get higher fidelity. And so if you were rendering this out for film or TV or whatever, this is a fantastic method to use to make it so you can actually animate your model and have the highest quality high poly version available as well. Thank you for watching the video. Again, I'll leave links in the description to the other 2 tutorials on normal maps that I did. And I guess I'm gonna go see if I can go to sleep yet. And I hope you have a lovely night or lovely day, whichever one you're doing. If you like the video, please like it, share, subscribe, comment, anything that helps the algorithm, and have a fantastic time.